In the sprawling expanse of the Milky Way, humanity's diaspora had spread like wildfire, a testament to its insatiable curiosity and indomitable spirit. Colonies flourished on distant worlds, each a beacon of Earth's legacy among the stars. Yet this age of exploration and prosperity was abruptly darkened by a shadow from the void. The Gaithers, a civilization as ancient as it was ruthless, emerged from the uncharted territories beyond the Perseus Arm. Their technology was strange and formidable, their motives inscrutable, driven by an imperative to conquer and assimilate. The frontier colony of New Haven, a jewel of human achievement on the edge of explored space, fell victim to their onslaught. The attack was swift and merciless. Within hours, New Haven was reduced to ashes, its pleas for mercy lost in the vacuum of space. The United Earth government, once a body concerned with matters of colonization and diplomacy, found itself at the helm of a crisis unlike any before. The images of New Haven's fall, transmitted across the galaxy, became a rallying cry for humanity. In a session marked by somber resolve, the government issued a proclamation that echoed through the corridors of human and alien institutions alike. "We are coming for you." Admiral Lucas Winters, a veteran of border skirmishes and peacekeeping missions, was tasked with leading the counteroffensive. Known for his tactical brilliance and unyielding resolve, Winters embodied the determination of a species pushed to the brink. Under his command, the fleet began its transformation into an instrument of retribution. Ships were refitted with the latest armaments, crews drilled in the tactics of interstellar warfare, and all the while the forges of Earth and its colonies worked ceaselessly to provide the material necessary for the coming conflict. Amidst this whirlwind of preparation, humanity's spirit was galvanized. The attack on New Haven was not just an act of aggression, it was a challenge to the very essence of human identity. Across planets and space stations, from the bustling megacities of Earth to the farthest outposts, a singular resolve took shape. The people of the United Earth stood united, not just in defense of their own, but in defense of the principles that had guided them to the stars: liberty, solidarity, and the pursuit of peace. As the fleet assembled at the edge of Gaither space, the air was thick with anticipation. Admiral Winters, addressing his crew and the soldiers under his command, spoke not of vengeance, but of justice. "This is not about retribution," he said, his voice steady and clear. "It is about standing up for those who no longer can. We carry with us the hope of our species, and we will not falter." The days following the declaration were a testament to humanity's capacity for rapid mobilization in the face of existential threats. Across Earth and its myriad colonies, the machinery of war thundered to life, a symphony of steel and resolve that resonated through the hearts of all who witnessed it. The United Earth's fleet, a diverse assembly of ships from various nations and colonies, became the spearhead of humanity's response. Under the gray expanse of Jupiter's orbit, the assembly point for the counteroffensive, Admiral Lucas Winters watched as the fleet grew. Each day brought a flotilla of reinforcements, from the sleek and deadly frigates of the lunar shipyards to the massive capital ships birthed by the gargantuan docks of Mars. The diversity of Earth's domains was reflected in the fleet, a melting pot of designs and philosophies unified by a singular purpose. The centerpiece of the fleet was the UES Vanguard, a dreadnought that dwarfed even the mightiest of capital ships. Its hull, bristling with the latest armaments and shielded by layers of advanced composite armor, was not just a symbol of humanity's technological prowess, but a statement of its resolve. The Vanguard, under the direct command of Admiral Winters, was to lead the charge into Gaither space. As the fleet prepared, the worlds of humanity buzzed with activity. Military academies expedited the training of officers and specialists, while propaganda broadcasts stirred the hearts of billions, framing the upcoming conflict as a crusade for the preservation of human dignity. Volunteers from every corner of human civilization enlisted, driven by a mix of fear, anger, and a desire to protect what they held dear. The technological might of the fleet was unmatched, but it was the human element that truly defined it. Engineers worked tirelessly to implement new technologies into the ships, From experimental energy weapons capable of tearing through the strongest shields to advanced AI systems designed to predict and counter Gaither tactics. Meanwhile, soldiers and pilots drilled in zero-gravity combat, adapting to the chaotic and disorienting nature of space warfare. Among the ranks were individuals like Lieutenant Maya Jensen, a pilot whose family had perished on New Haven. Her story, shared by many, became a rallying point for the crew, a reminder of the stakes of their mission. Her determination, mirrored in the eyes of her comrades, underscored the depth of humanity's commitment. The days turned to weeks, and the fleet's readiness reached its zenith. Admiral Winters, in a final address before departure, spoke not of the horror that had befallen New Haven, but of the opportunity that lay before humanity. "This is our moment," he declared, "to show the galaxy that humanity will not cower in the face of tyranny. We stand united, a beacon of hope and defiance. Let us carry that light into the darkness." As the fleet made its final preparations to depart, the people of Earth and the colonies looked to the stars with a mix of apprehension and hope. The vast armada, now ready, was not just a military force, but a manifestation of humanity's indomitable spirit. A clear message to the galaxy. In the face of annihilation, humanity would stand as one, unbroken and relentless. The silence of the void was the first to greet the United Earth fleet as it emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Gaither domain. Space, vast and unyielding, held its breath. The darkness was soon pierced by the glow of engines and the hum of active sensors, casting a net into the abyss, searching for a foe shrouded in mystery and malice. Admiral Lucas Winters, aboard the UES Vanguard, watched the data streams with a calm focus. The early moments in enemy territory were critical, a high-stakes game of cosmic hide-and-seek. The fleet had entered a region of space marked by dense asteroid fields and nebulous gas clouds, a testament to the galaxy's chaotic beauty, yet now serving as a potential cover for ambush. The tension was palpable across the fleet, every crew member keenly aware of the history they were about to write. Among them, Lieutenant Maya Jensen readied her squadron, their fighters nestled in the belly of the Vanguard, like knights awaiting their call to joust. The void outside was an arena, and they were its gladiators. The first sign of contact was a flicker on the edge of a sensor array, a ghostly echo that quickly solidified into a distressing reality. A Gaither scout ship, angular and bristling with weapons, had stumbled upon the human fleet. Its design was alien, embodying a philosophy of war far removed from humanity's own. Yet in that moment it was not the differences but the similarities that stood out. Two species bound by a spiral of violence, facing each other across the stars. Admiral Winters acted with decisive clarity. He understood the value of surprise, now lost, but also the opportunity this encounter presented. "Engage and capture," he ordered, his voice a calm command that cut through the tension. "Let's see what we can learn about our enemy." The engagement was swift. Human ships designed for flexibility and rapid response darted towards the Gaither scout with a predatory grace. The scout responded, unleashing a barrage of energy weapons that danced across the shields of the advancing ships. The void was alive with the fury of battle, a deadly ballet set to the silent symphony of the cosmos. Lieutenant Jensen and her squadron, the Voidhawks, launched into the fray, their fighters agile and deadly. They wove through the chaos, a spearhead aimed at the heart of the Gaither ship. The enemy's weapons were powerful, but the humans had the advantage of tactics and determination. Maya, fueled by a personal vendetta against the Gaithers for New Haven, pushed her fighter to its limits, her squadron matching her intensity. The battle, though brief, was a crucible. The Gaither ship, overwhelmed by the human assault, succumbed to the relentless pressure. In a final act of defiance, it attempted to self-destruct, a bid to deny the humans their prize. But the Voidhawks were quicker, disabling the ship's core with precision strikes. Admiral Winters watched as the disabled Gaither scout was secured, a tangible connection to the enemy that had remained a shadow. The encounter was a victory, albeit a small one, but its significance was monumental. For the first time, humanity had clashed with the Gaithers in open space and emerged victorious. With the successful capture of the Gaither scout ship, Humanity's fleet, under Admiral Lucas Winter's command, delved deeper into the heart of enemy territory. The captured vessel, now a treasure trove of alien technology and data, was under meticulous scrutiny. Scientists and linguists worked alongside military strategists, deciphering the Gaither's cryptic language and technology in a bid to understand their enemy better. This breakthrough bolstered the morale of the fleet, serving as a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. The journey into Gaither space was marked by a surreal beauty, a stark contrast to the looming threat they faced. Nebulae painted the void with vibrant hues, stars born and dying in the distance, a backdrop to the fleet's silent march. Yet this cosmic ballet was a facade to the dangers lurking within. The Gaithers had engineered their domain into a fortress, with sensor nets camouflaged within asteroid fields and automated defense platforms hidden in the shadow of moons. Humanity was not just venturing into enemy territory. They were entering a domain where the very fabric of space had been twisted into a weapon. Admiral Winters, cognizant of the Gaithers' technological prowess, ordered the fleet into a dispersed formation, minimizing the risk of a mass ambush. The fleet's advance was cautious, its path unpredictable, weaving through the dangers with a careful choreography designed to confound and confuse any observers. The first true test of their incursion came at the edge of a gas giant, where Gaither sentinels, sleek and lethal, lay in wait. The engagement was immediate and fierce. Gaither weapons, designed to disrupt and disorient, clashed with human shields and countermeasures. Each volley of fire was met with disciplined return fire, each Gaither tactic countered with human cunning. Lieutenant Maya Jensen, now a veteran of these skirmishes, led her squadron with a poise that belied the chaos around her. Her Voidhawks danced through the enemy formations, striking with precision and retreating before retaliation could be mounted. The battle, though intense, was brief. The Gaithers, unaccustomed to the tenacity and resourcefulness of their human adversaries, withdrew, leaving behind the scattered remains of their sentinels. The fleet pressed on, each encounter with Gaither forces serving as both a lesson and a warning. The Gaithers were adapting, their tactics evolving in response to human strategies. It became clear to Admiral Winters and his command that this war would not be won by brute force alone. The key to victory lay in understanding the Gaithers' motives, their culture, and their technology. To this end, the fleet's scientists and strategists worked tirelessly, analyzing every piece of data, every encounter, searching for the Achilles heel of their formidable adversary. As the fleet ventured further into Gaither space, the scale of the civilization they faced became apparent. Planets, terraformed and sculpted to suit the Gaithers' needs, orbited stars harnessed for their energy. The Gaithers had not just colonized space, they had mastered it, bending the laws of nature to their will. Yet, for all their might, there were signs of strain, worlds left barren, and systems abandoned. The Gaithers, it seemed, were not the monolithic force humanity had feared, but a civilization grappling with its own limitations. This revelation offered a glimmer of hope, a strategy not just of confrontation, but of attrition. Admiral Winters, reflecting on the journey thus far, recognized the duality of their mission. They were not just soldiers and scientists, but explorers and diplomats, representing humanity in a galaxy far more complex and interconnected than they had imagined. Varus Prime loomed before the United Earth Fleet, a world fortified to the brink of impregnability. It was the Gaithers' crown jewel in this sector, a hub of military might and a symbol of their dominion over the stars. Admiral Lucas Winters, aware of the daunting task ahead, faced not just the challenge of battle, but the burden of command. The decisions made here, in the shadow of this behemoth, would echo through history, for better or worse. The strategy for Varus Prime was multifaceted. Winters, drawing upon the lessons of their incursion into Gaither space, opted for a siege that would leverage humanity's technological ingenuity and newfound understanding of Gaither weaknesses. The plan was to isolate the planet, severing its supply lines and communications, thereby forcing its defenders into a war of attrition they could not sustain. Lieutenant Maya Jensen and her Voidhawks were instrumental in the early stages of the siege. Their mission was to engage and neutralize the outer defense platforms, a task fraught with danger given the Gaither's penchant for unconventional warfare. Maya, emboldened by her experiences and driven by the memories of New Haven, led her squadron with a mix of precision and audacity that had become their hallmark. As the Voidhawks danced through the Gaither defenses, the main fleet engaged in a calculated display of force. Long-range bombardments targeted key installations, while electronic warfare units scrambled enemy communications, sowing confusion among the defenders. Every move was choreographed to apply pressure, to probe for weaknesses, and to incrementally erode the enemy's ability to retaliate. Beneath the surface of Varus Prime, the Gaithers were not idle. Their response to the siege was a counteroffensive that combined guerrilla tactics with the deployment of powerful war machines, previously unseen by human forces. These constructs, massive and bristling with weaponry, emerged from hidden silos, challenging the besiegers and forcing a shift in strategy. The siege turned into a crucible, testing the resolve and adaptability of the United Earth fleet. Casualties mounted as the conflict dragged on, each skirmish a brutal reminder of the stakes involved. Admiral Winters, faced with the growing toll, grappled with the moral implications of the siege, the line between victory and Pyrrhic triumph blurring in the fires of war. The turning point came from an unexpected quarter. A team of special operatives inserted onto Varus Prime under the cover of a diversionary attack managed to infiltrate a key Gaither facility. Their mission was to disable the planetary shield generators, a task that would expose the Gaither stronghold to a decisive strike. The operation was fraught with peril, a shadow dance through enemy territory that tested the limits of human courage and ingenuity. The operatives, drawn from various branches of the military and intelligence services, embodied the diversity and strength of humanity. Their success, achieved at great cost, was a testament to the indomitable human spirit. With the shields down, Admiral Winters ordered a final, concentrated assault on Varus Prime. The fleet, united in purpose and resolve, unleashed a torrent of fire that pierced the heart of the Gaither defenses. The bombardment was relentless, a hammer blow designed to break the will of the besieged. The fall of Varus Prime was a moment of triumph and tragedy. The stronghold, once a symbol of Gaither power, lay in ruins, its defenders either vanquished or captured. The victory was a strategic masterstroke, securing a critical foothold in Gaither space and demonstrating humanity's capability to challenge a seemingly insurmountable foe. Yet, the cost was steep. The debris orbiting Varus Prime served as a somber reminder of the lives lost, both human and Gaither. Admiral Winters, standing on the bridge of the UES Vanguard, looked upon the devastation with a heavy heart. The siege had been won, but the war was far from over. The path ahead was uncertain, strewn with the wreckage of battle and the ghosts of those who had fallen. In the aftermath of the siege of Varus Prime, the United Earth Fleet, under Admiral Lucas Winters' command, began the meticulous process of sifting through the ashes of conflict. Varus Prime, a world that had once epitomized Gaither military might, now stood as a testament to the devastation of war. The victory, while significant, bore a weight that pressed heavily on the hearts of those who had witnessed its cost firsthand. The turning point emerged from an unexpected discovery beneath the surface of Varus Prime. A contingent of scientists, accompanied by a security detail, stumbled upon an ancient Gaither facility, its existence unknown to the current inhabitants of the planet. The facility, buried deep within the crust, was a relic of a bygone era, its architecture and technology markedly different from the Gaither designs encountered by the fleet. Inside, the team found something that would alter the course of the conflict and reshape humanity's understanding of their enemy. The facility was not a military installation, but a research center, dedicated to the study of a phenomenon that transcended the known laws of physics. The Gaithers had once been explorers, not conquerors, driven by a quest for knowledge and understanding. The pivotal discovery was a series of logs and databanks, meticulously preserved, detailing the Gaithers' descent from curiosity-driven explorers to a civilization gripped by fear and survivalism. A cosmic event, foretold in their ancient prophecies, had threatened the very fabric of their society, leading them down a path of militarization and conquest in a bid to secure their future. Admiral Winters, presented with the findings, realized the significance of the discovery. The Gaithers, long viewed as the aggressors, were also victims of circumstances beyond their control. The conflict, fueled by misinterpretations and fear, had obscured the commonalities shared by both species. The revelation offered a new perspective on the enemy and opened the door to a potential ceasefire. Winters, acting on a combination of intuition and strategic foresight, proposed a daring initiative. A message, broadcast in the Gaither language and encoded with the data from the ancient facility, was sent into Gaither space. The message was a gesture of empathy, an acknowledgement of the shared plight that had driven both civilizations to the brink. The response was silence at first. The fleet, poised for retaliation, found itself in a holding pattern, the tension of the unknown stretching thin the nerves of its crew. But then, a breakthrough. A Gaither emissary, utilizing the communication protocols provided in the message, made contact. The emissary, a scientist of high standing within the Gaither hierarchy, expressed cautious interest in the proposal. Negotiations commenced, a delicate dance of diplomacy and pragmatism. The discussions were fraught with challenges, as centuries of mistrust and conflict had to be navigated with care. Yet the foundation of shared understanding, built upon the revelations from the ancient facility, provided a common ground from which to start. The turning point in the narrative was not marked by a decisive battle, but by a conversation. The talks, held aboard the UES Vanguard, were a microcosm of the potential for reconciliation. Admiral Winters and the Gaither emissary, through hours of dialogue, began to dismantle the barriers of hostility, piece by piece. In the hearts of those who had fought and those who had mourned, the turning point offered a glimmer of hope. The war was far from over, and the path to peace fraught with uncertainty, but the possibility of a future where humanity and the Gaithers could coexist had been ignited. The journey ahead was uncharted, yet it was a journey that, for the first time, seemed worth taking. The ceasefire, fragile and unprecedented, brought an uneasy peace to the galaxy. Admiral Lucas Winters, now not just a military leader but a pioneer of peace, found himself at the forefront of a new challenge, transforming the ceasefire into a lasting truce. The negotiations with the Gaithers, initiated by the surprising discovery on Varus Prime, had opened a channel of communication long thought impossible. The alliance with a faction of the Gaither civilization, those who had responded to the message of shared understanding, was a delicate tapestry of diplomacy and strategy. The faction, led by the emissary who had first reached out to the humans, represented a segment of Gaither society that yearned for a return to their exploratory roots, away from the endless cycle of conquest and fear. Integrating the Gaither faction into the fleet posed unique challenges. Cultural and biological differences aside, there was a deep-seated mistrust among the ranks of both sides. Years of conflict had painted each as the monster in the other's narrative, a perspective that was difficult to shake. To bridge this gap, joint operations were organized, focusing on humanitarian efforts and the reconstruction of war-torn systems. These missions served a dual purpose. They were a tangible manifestation of the alliance's potential for good and a testbed for cooperation between the two species. Simultaneously, the human fleet began a concerted effort to understand Gaither technology and philosophy, with the captured scout ship serving as a classroom for cross-species exchange. The technology exchange, initially met with resistance, gradually became a cornerstone of the alliance. Human ingenuity combined with Gaither technological prowess led to advancements that were beneficial for both parties, fostering a sense of mutual respect and appreciation. Admiral Winters, recognizing the importance of public perception, initiated a series of broadcasts detailing the progress of the alliance. These transmissions, shared across human and Gaither networks, highlighted the successes and challenges of the cooperative efforts. They served not only to keep the populations informed, but also to humanize the former enemy, showcasing individual stories of camaraderie and shared purpose. Despite the progress, the alliance was not without its adversaries. Skeptics and hardliners on both sides viewed the ceasefire with suspicion, perceiving it as a betrayal of their respective causes. Incidents of sabotage and violence threatened to unravel the fragile peace, acts carried out by those unable to envision a future defined by anything other than conflict. The most significant test of the alliance came in the form of a humanitarian crisis on a border world, devastated by years of conflict. The world, a testament to the war's brutality, became the focal point for a joint relief effort. Human and Gaither teams worked side by side, braving the remnants of war to bring aid to the afflicted. The mission, fraught with danger, underscored the potential for unity in the face of adversity. It was a poignant reminder of the war's cost and a clarion call for the value of peace. As the fledgling alliance between humanity and the Gaither faction began to take root, casting a fragile light of hope across war-weary civilizations, a new shadow emerged from the depths of uncharted space. Reports of outlying colonies experiencing inexplicable phenomena started to trickle in, followed by distress signals that abruptly silenced, leaving only the void as witness. These incidents, initially dismissed as anomalies or the aftershocks of war, soon coalesced into a pattern of ominous portent. Admiral Lucas Winters, alongside his Gaither counterpart, initiated a covert investigation into these disturbances, fearing the emergence of a new threat that could unravel the tentative peace. Their inquiry uncovered a chilling reality. An ancient nomadic civilization, referred to in hushed tones within the oldest Gaither archives as the voidborn, had begun to stir from its eons-long dormancy. The voidborn, entities of immense power and enigmatic motives, were drawn towards energy signatures and technological advancements. Their arrival in the galaxy was cyclic, heralded by the rise of civilizations reaching a certain threshold of technological prowess. The Gaither's own history was marked by encounters with the voidborn, encounters that had shaped their societal evolution and their eventual turn towards militarism. Faced with this revelation, the Alliance faced a stark dilemma. The voidborn represented a threat of an entirely different magnitude, one that did not distinguish between human or Gaither, seeing only worlds ripe for harvest. The ancient Gaither texts spoke of the voidborn with a mixture of reverence and dread, describing them as harbingers of renewal, a force of nature that reset the galactic stage, leaving only silence in their wake. The strategy to confront the voidborn required a radical departure from conventional warfare. It was not merely a battle for territory or survival, but a fight to preserve the very essence of civilization. Winters and his allies embarked on a mission to forge a broader coalition, reaching out to other species and factions within the galaxy, some of whom had been adversaries in the recent past. The coalition's first task was to understand the voidborn, a challenge that pushed the limits of existing knowledge and technology. Joint research initiatives sprang up, combining human innovation with Gaither and other alien sciences in a desperate race against time. These efforts led to the development of new technologies and strategies designed to shield planets from the voidborn's detection or to evacuate them with unprecedented efficiency. Amidst these preparations, the voidborn made their presence known. A coalition fleet, assembled for a demonstration of unity and strength, encountered a voidborn vanguard. The encounter was brief but devastating, a stark demonstration of the gap between the coalition's capabilities and the raw power of the voidborn. The vanguard, a mere scouting force, displayed abilities that defied physics, tearing through advanced defenses as if they were nothing. The battle, while a tactical defeat, offered invaluable insights into the voidborn's technology and tactics. Analysis of the engagement fueled a flurry of innovation, leading to the development of asymmetric warfare tactics and technologies specifically tailored to counter the voidborn's advantages. As the coalition regrouped and redoubled its efforts, a sense of unity began to crystallize, transcending old prejudices and rivalries. The threat of the voidborn had accomplished what centuries of diplomacy could not. A galactic alliance united not by fear of each other, but by the shared goal of survival against a common foe. The galaxy, now bound by a fragile but resilient coalition, found itself under the shadow of the voidborn threat, a menace that loomed like a dark tide, ready to sweep across civilizations and extinguish the light of countless worlds. As the coalition braced for the onslaught, a clandestine operation codenamed Shadow Whisper was launched, aiming to gather intelligence on the voidborn and identify any potential weaknesses. Admiral Lucas Winters, alongside a council of human and alien strategists, coordinated the operation, deploying a network of spies and scouts across the fringes of known space. These operatives, drawn from the elite ranks of coalition forces, embarked on harrowing missions into voidborn-occupied territories, navigating the perilous void to bring back crucial data. Lieutenant Maya Jensen, her skills honed in the fires of previous battles, led one such team. Their mission: infiltrate a system recently overwhelmed by the voidborn and retrieve any data on their technology and tactics. The mission was a high-stakes gamble, relying on stealth technology and the audacity of those willing to face the unknown. The team's journey into the heart of darkness revealed the harrowing impact of the voidborn's advance. Entire planets lay in ruins, their civilizations erased, a chilling testament to the voidborn's power. Amidst this desolation, Maya and her team discovered fragments of voidborn technology, strange and inscrutable devices that defied understanding, yet held the potential key to their adversaries' undoing. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, similar missions undertaken by other teams pieced together a mosaic of information about the voidborn. Their technology, while advanced, followed certain patterns and relied on specific energy signatures for their ships and weapons. This discovery, though small, offered a glimmer of hope, a possible chink in the voidborn's seemingly impenetrable armor. The intelligence gathered by Operation Shadow Whisper laid the foundation for the coalition's counter-strategy. Scientists and engineers, working alongside xenobiologists and tacticians, embarked on a frenzied effort to devise a weapon capable of exploiting the voidborn's vulnerabilities. The result was the harmonic resonance device, HRD, a bold and untested technology designed to disrupt the voidborn's energy cohesion, rendering their ships and weapons vulnerable. As the coalition prepared to deploy the HRD, debates raged within the council. The device was a double-edged sword, its use a gamble that could turn the tide of the war or provoke the voidborn into a devastating retaliation. Admiral Winters, ever the pragmatist, argued for its deployment, insisting that the risk was outweighed by the potential to save billions of lives. The decision was made. The HRD would be deployed in a controlled engagement, targeting a voidborn fleet advancing towards a coalition world. The battle, chosen as the testing ground for humanity's last hope, was a calculated risk, a moment of truth that would determine the fate of the galaxy. As the voidborn fleet approached, the coalition forces, a mix of human and alien ships, stood ready. The HRD at the heart of the formation pulsed with potential, a beacon of defiance in the face of oblivion. The ensuing battle was a maelstrom of light and shadow as coalition forces engaged the voidborn, drawing them into the range of the HRD. The device was activated, emitting a harmonic pulse that swept across the battlefield. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Voidborn ships, their energy cohesion disrupted, began to falter, their invulnerability undone by the ingenuity of their adversaries. Coalition forces, seizing the moment, pressed the attack with renewed vigor, cutting through the voidborn with a ferocity born of desperation and hope. The battle, though far from a decisive victory, marked a turning point in the war. The HRD proved its worth, offering a weapon against a seemingly unstoppable foe. The coalition, emboldened by this success, began mass production of the device, integrating it into their strategic planning. The victory, while significant, was but the first step in a long and uncertain path to salvation. The voidborn, though momentarily checked, remained a pervasive threat. But the coalition, strengthened by their shared triumph and the promise of the HRD, faced the future with a united front, ready to defy the darkness and fight for the light of civilization. The tide of war had shifted subtly yet significantly with the introduction of the harmonic resonance device, HRD. a beacon of hope against the seemingly insurmountable voidborn threat. However, the coalition knew that a single victory did not spell the end of their cosmic nemesis. Instead, it heralded the beginning of a more strategic, calculated resistance. The voidborn, a civilization as ancient as it was enigmatic, would not be deterred easily. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of the galaxy, the Battle of the Abyss. The Abyss, a region of space marked by a dense cluster of black holes and neutron stars, represented a navigational nightmare and a strategic paradox. It was here that the voidborn were amassing, drawing upon the gravitational forces to power a superweapon capable of tearing the fabric of spacetime itself, a threat that could annihilate entire star systems in an instant. Admiral Lucas Winters, aware of the stakes, orchestrated a plan that was as audacious as it was desperate. The coalition would confront the voidborn in the Abyss, leveraging the HRD to neutralize the superweapon and shatter the enemy fleet. It was a gambit that required precision and unity from the disparate forces of the coalition, a test of their resolve and the trust they had built. Lieutenant Maya Jensen, now a seasoned veteran of the Shadow Wars against the voidborn, led a squadron of elite pilots tasked with infiltrating the Abyss's treacherous confines. Their mission: to deploy a series of HRDs around the superweapon, creating a harmonic cage that would nullify its destructive potential. The operation was fraught with danger, as the Abyss's gravitational anomalies made conventional navigation impossible. Maya and her team relied on a patchwork of alien technologies and human ingenuity to thread their way through the cosmic labyrinth. Meanwhile, the main coalition fleet engaged the voidborn in a series of feints and skirmishes designed to draw their attention away from the Abyss. These battles, though smaller in scale, were no less perilous, each encounter a deadly dance on the edge of oblivion. The coalition forces, a vibrant tapestry of species and ships, fought with a unity forged in the fires of shared adversity, each volley and maneuver a testament to their collective will to survive. As Maya's team reached the superweapon, the Battle of the Abyss reached its crescendo. The coalition fleet, leveraging the disarray caused by the HRDs, launched a full-scale assault on the voidborn armada. The battle was a maelstrom of energy and chaos, the darkness of the Abyss lit by the conflagration of ships and the brilliant flares of collapsing stars. The deployment of the HRDs around the superweapon was a moment of breathless tension. Maya and her squadron, dodging the voidborn's desperate attempts to stop them, activated the devices in a synchronized burst. The harmonic pulse enveloped the superweapon, its ominous hum fading into silence as its power was sapped away, rendered inert by the coalition's daring strategy. With the superweapon neutralized, the tide of the battle turned decisively. The voidborn, their trump card lost, found themselves outmatched by the coalition's renewed vigor and the strategic acumen of its leaders. The battle raged for hours, but the outcome was inevitable. The voidborn armada was shattered, its remnants retreating into the void from which they had come. The Battle of the Abyss was a victory that echoed through the stars, a signal flare announcing the coalition's defiance and resilience. But it was also a harrowing reminder of the cost of survival in a galaxy where ancient powers stirred in the dark. As the coalition forces regrouped, there was a moment of solemn reflection. The victory had been won, but at a great price. Many had fallen, their sacrifices inscribed in the annals of a war that had spanned the stars. Yet, in the aftermath, there was also a sense of cautious optimism. The voidborn, long considered invincible, had been repelled. The galaxy, once fractured by conflict and mistrust, had found a common cause. Admiral Winters, standing on the bridge of the UES Vanguard, looked out into the abyss, now quiet. The battle had proven that unity was the galaxy's greatest strength, a beacon of light against the dark tide. The road ahead was still fraught with challenges, but for the first time, there was hope that together, the civilizations of the galaxy could forge a future free from the shadow of extinction. In the aftermath of the Battle of the Abyss, the galaxy stood at a crossroads, its path forward uncertain yet filled with the promise of possibility. The coalition, buoyed by its victory against the voidborn, faced the monumental task of rebuilding and reconciliation in the wake of a war that had spanned civilizations and epochs. Admiral Lucas Winters, hailed as a hero by some and a symbol of hope by others, found himself at the center of a new era of galactic politics. The coalition, once held together by the common enemy of the voidborn, now grappled with the complexities of governance and diplomacy. Old rivalries and grievances resurfaced, testing the fragile bonds that had been forged in the crucible of war. Winters, ever the pragmatist, recognized that the true test of the coalition's unity lay not in the heat of battle but in the challenges of peace. He convened a council of representatives from each member species, tasked with drafting a charter that would define the coalition's structure and principles. The process was arduous, marked by debates and negotiations that stretched into the depths of space and time. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the scars of war remained visible. Planets ravaged by voidborn attacks struggled to rebuild, their populations grappling with loss and uncertainty. The coalition, cognizant of its responsibility to these worlds, launched a massive relief effort, channeling resources and expertise to those in need. It was a gesture of solidarity and redemption, a commitment to heal the wounds of the past and build a future where all could thrive. Amidst the reconstruction efforts, whispers of dissent began to emerge. Some within the coalition questioned the wisdom of extending a hand to former enemies, fearing that old animosities would resurface and plunge the galaxy back into chaos. Others, emboldened by the spirit of cooperation that had emerged in the face of the voidborn threat, argued for reconciliation and forgiveness, believing that the only path forward was one of unity and understanding. The debate came to a head during a pivotal summit on the neutral world of Unity Prime. Representatives from across the galaxy gathered to finalize the coalition charter and chart a course for the future. Tensions ran high as old grievances clashed with newfound hopes, threatening to derail the fragile peace that had been achieved. In the midst of the summit, a crisis erupted on the fringes of coalition space. Reports came in of a resurgence of voidborn activity, a shadowy echo of the threat that had been thought vanquished. The news sent shockwaves through the summit, casting doubt on the coalition's ability to maintain the peace it had fought so hard to achieve. Admiral Winters, faced with the resurgence of the voidborn, made a bold decision. He called for a temporary suspension of the summit and rallied the coalition forces to confront the new threat head-on. The voidborn, it seemed, were not content to fade into obscurity. Their return signaled a grim reminder that the galaxy's struggles were far from over. The resurgence of voidborn activity sent shockwaves through the galaxy, shaking the fragile peace that had been painstakingly forged in the wake of the Battle of the Abyss. As reports of new incursions and attacks flooded in, the coalition found itself thrust once again into the crucible of war, facing an enemy thought vanquished but now returned with renewed ferocity. Admiral Lucas Winters, his resolve tempered by years of conflict, mobilized the coalition forces with a sense of urgency not seen since the height of the Voidborn War. The threat of the ancient civilization loomed once again, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the galaxy's future. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, Winters remained steadfast in his belief that unity was the key to victory. The coalition, galvanized by the resurgence of the Voidborn threat, launched a series of preemptive strikes aimed at disrupting their advance and gathering intelligence on their movements. These missions, conducted with precision and determination, provided crucial insights into the Voidborn's tactics and objectives, yet the enigmatic nature of their foe remained shrouded in mystery. Meanwhile, on the front lines of the conflict, Lieutenant Maya Jensen and her squadron found themselves once again thrust into the heart of the fray. Their missions, now more dangerous and vital than ever, tested their skills and resolve to the limit. Yet amidst the chaos of battle, Maya found moments of clarity and purpose, a reminder of the importance of their struggle against the darkness that threatened to engulf them all. As the war against the Voidborn intensified, tensions within the coalition began to simmer. Old rivalries and grievances resurfaced, threatening to undermine the fragile unity that had been forged in the crucible of war. Admiral Winters, recognizing the danger posed by internal discord, worked tirelessly to mend rifts and bridge divides, reminding his allies that their common enemy lay beyond the stars, not within their ranks. The turning point in the conflict came with the discovery of a long-lost Gaither artifact, rumored to hold the key to unlocking the secrets of the voidborn's origins and weaknesses. The artifact, hidden away in the depths of a forgotten world, became the focal point of a desperate race against time as Coalition forces sought to retrieve it before the voidborn could lay claim to its power. Maya Jensen and her squadron were tasked with securing the artifact, a mission that would take them deep into enemy territory and put their skills to the ultimate test. Their journey, fraught with danger and uncertainty, was a testament to the courage and determination of those who dared to defy the darkness that threatened to engulf them. The race for the Gaither artifact reached its climax as Coalition forces, led by Admiral Lucas Winters, closed in on the hidden world where it lay buried. The artifact, rumored to hold the key to understanding the Voidborn's origins and weaknesses, represented a glimmer of hope amidst the encroaching darkness that threatened to engulf the galaxy once more. As the Coalition fleet descended upon the forgotten world, they were met with fierce resistance from Voidborn forces determined to protect their secrets at all costs. The battle that ensued was a desperate struggle for control of the artifact, a clash of civilizations fighting for the fate of the galaxy. Amidst the chaos of battle, Lieutenant Maya Jensen and her squadron were tasked with securing a landing zone for Coalition ground forces. Their mission, though fraught with danger, was a crucial component of the larger strategy to seize control of the artifact and deny it to the Voidborn. As Maya and her squadron fought bravely against overwhelming odds, they were aided by unexpected allies, a faction of Gaither rebels who had long opposed the militaristic regime that had led their civilization to ruin. United by a common enemy, human and Gaither forces fought side by side, their shared determination to reclaim the artifact a testament to the power of unity in the face of adversity. Meanwhile, Admiral Winters led the main assault on the artifact's location, coordinating the Coalition's efforts with precision and determination. The battle was fierce and relentless, with Voidborn defenders throwing everything they had at the Coalition forces in a desperate bid to hold on to their prize. As the battle raged on, Maya and her squadron managed to secure the landing zone, allowing Coalition ground forces to establish a foothold on the planet's surface. The ground assault was grueling and intense, with every inch of territory fiercely contested by both sides. But despite the ferocity of the Voidborn resistance, the Coalition forces prevailed, pushing through the enemy lines to reach the artifact's hidden chamber. As they breached the chamber's defenses, they were met with a sight that filled them with awe and trepidation: the Gaither artifact, a massive structure of unknown origin, pulsating with energy and ancient power. With the artifact in their possession, Admiral Winters and his allies now faced a new challenge: unlocking its secrets and harnessing its power against the Voidborn. As they began to study the artifact, they uncovered ancient texts and inscriptions that hinted at its true purpose and the knowledge it contained. But even as they delved deeper into the artifact's mysteries, the Voidborn were not idle. Reports came in of a massive Voidborn armada converging on the planet, their intent clear: to reclaim the artifact and eliminate anyone who stood in their way.